As someone who grew up during the Disney golden age of animated films, and now all those films are now controversial messes, I think it is safe to say that Disney has come a long way, and with this new film, I think it's probably one of their best ones. Hey, what is up guys? It's me, Anthony, here to give you guys another movie review. This time it is for the new Disney animated film, Disney animated original film, Raya and the Last Dragon. So we don't get these that often, Disney animated original films. Nowadays, it's all about Disney live action remakes, and we know how those are going. As someone who used to be a defender of the Disney live action ones, I'm still kind of a defender. I mean, I don't like all of them, but you don't have to go guns a-blazing and like pitchforks saying like, they shouldn't do this, they're gonna ruin my childhood. Hey, I got news for you. The animated one is still there. It's not ruined. But I will agree that most of the Disney live action stuff it's not that good. And I was always more partial towards the Disney animated stuff because I think that's their roots, right? That's where they started out doing their movies, you know, with the Snow Whites and the Pinocchios and the Dumbos and all that stuff. Those movies are kind of controversial on their own now. But now we're getting into the new age of the Disney animated stuff. And we got the Frozens, we got the Tangled, and now we have Raya, the Last Dragon. I don't know, maybe it's just because it's fresh in my mind. I just recently saw it. I really, really enjoy this movie. I think this is probably one of Disney's best, if not their best animated movie to date. In a realm known as Kamandra, a warrior named Raya is determined to find the last dragon and save her kingdom from the evil darkness known as the Druid. So before I even get into my pros and cons with this film, you have one question. This was a $30 film. Was it worth it? Was it another Mulan? It's not, guys. Okay, this one is worth $30 in my opinion. I know a lot of people are like, dude, I don't want to spend $30 on a movie. I know it was cheaper when I went to the movies. Well, here where I live in the Bay Area, I would go on matinee prices, which is like $12, $13 here. And if it was me and my wife, probably a friend, that's more than $30. Okay, you got the popcorn, you got all that candies and stuff. You know, I got to get my Crunch a Munch and all that stuff. So $30 for just me watching it at home, and if it's a good movie, I think that's a deal. But I mean, let's be honest, still kind of whack that you're paying for the service and then you got to pay extra $30 on top of that. But I think that it's well worth the price of admission. And I don't even know where to start with this movie because there's just so much good stuff in this film for me. But I think the best place to start in this film is just talk about Raya herself, the lead protagonist played by Kelly Marie Tran. You know, the girl from Star Wars who everybody was so horrible to. I mean, the stuff that people wrote about her and wrote to her on Twitter and stuff was so bad that she had to leave social media entirely, which is not a bad idea because some of the stuff that I get. But I think she does a great job of playing Raya, especially when Raya's a little bit older. When she's a little kid, it seems kind of weird because Kelly Marie Tran's voice doesn't really, like, she doesn't have a kid voice. So it looked kind of weird when she was like 8 years old and she has like an adult voice. Kind of. But some of my favorite moments in the movie was when Raya and Namaari were on the screen together. Gemma Chan plays Namaari, and she, again, just like Kelly Marie Tran, does an excellent job of playing this girl who is stuck between two worlds pretty much. She has grown up in a land where they're not as wealthy and well off as the land of where Raya is. And the two of them clash. And I like that dynamic because we have some classism in here. And this movie is full of that. There's full of like social commentary, but it's not like too in your face where you're just like rolling your eye. And there's a lot of stuff in here that's relevant today, especially with the classism. There's a lot of classism talk in here. There's a lot of talk of like a divided country, a divided world. And you know, that's not relevant for today. There's just a lot of stuff in here packed into this film, and it doesn't feel forced at all. This is also one of the few films that I think that every single character had a purpose. And I mean everybody. There's characters in here that barely have like one line, or they show up like once or twice in the film, but their impact and their purpose in the film means so much. It's like it is earned and that they have a purpose of being there, and it adds so much to the story. And yes, there is animal sidekick characters in this movie. There's actually a couple, and yes, they're adorable, and yes, I want to buy their merch when I go to Disneyland again. I'm not ashamed. Also, what is a big thing for me in this movie is there is no love interest. Now, Raya is a princess, and we know how Disney and princesses how those two mesh together. They always got to have a love interest, somebody that they're fawning after or want to be with. And we're taking steps in the right direction. Disney's taking steps in the right direction. Like Moana and Frozen. Well, Frozen, is still a love interest, but we had two female leads. One of them didn't have a love interest. One of them did. I have a feeling in Frozen 3, we're going to find somebody for Elsa. But that aside, like I said, Moana, there's no love interest in that one. Strong female lead. And in this one, we have Raya. We have a strong female lead. We have two strong female leads if you want to talk about Nomari in here. But there's no love interest. No, not even a little inkling of that. You have characters, female characters and male characters, being friends, and they don't have to like each other. That to me is pretty big step for Disney. And this is probably one of the first movies that I've seen during this whole pandemic that I was like, man, I want to see this in the theaters. I wish theaters were open in my area so I can go see this. I probably still wouldn't go because, I think it's too early still. But even then, it looks beautiful. And I was just like, man, I want to see this on like a big Dolby screen because it just looks really, really good. I think that it's probably the best looking Disney animated film that I've seen ever. The action, the drama, the character development, everything is top notch. The only thing that I have a problem with about this movie is the world building just a little bit. I mean, they do a pretty decent job about world building in here, but I do wish that they developed a little bit more of the different regions that Raya and her friends go to. I think we just get like a little brief summary. It's like, oh, in the beginning, there's like a little brief summary of all the regions. But the way that this movie presents everything in this film is so cool and enchanting that I was like, I just want to stay in this world for like ever. So can you just give me more information? Like I want an encyclopedia. So I guess it's not really like a bad thing. It's just something me just being greedy. I just want more of. Also, the bad entities in this movie, the little black blobs that I call them, the Droon. I didn't really get like anything from them. I just was like, okay, they're the bad things in here, but I didn't feel any like fear from them. They didn't really do it for me. I didn't really feel anything from them. I mean, they're like soulless blobs anyway, so I guess I wasn't supposed to feel it. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about Awkwafina in this film, who plays the dragon Sisu. It's kind of crazy how far Awkwafina has come. I feel like she's in like every movie this year. Every 2021, when I was watching for trailers, it was like every time I was like, oh, there's Awkwafina. She's there. And if you don't know who Awkwafina is, for me, I was first introduced to her as a rapper, a New York rapper on Spotify. When Spotify first started, I was like, oh, who's this? Is it Awkwafina? She's a rapper. She's doing a song called Yellow Ranger. This is pretty cool. But nothing but good things about this movie, guys. Like I said, the stuff that I didn't really like was like minor stuff. I love this movie. It's probably my favorite movie of the year. I know it's big praises right now, but you gotta definitely go check this movie out, guys. I know it's $30. If you don't have $30, you could just wait. I think it's gonna be available in like 4 months. So if you want to wait that long, then I guess you can do that. But for me, I really recommend that you guys go check this movie out and watch it like 400 times because it's really, really good. But guys, let me know what you think of Raya and the Last Dragon in the comments down below. Is it pronounced Raya or Raya? I think I have been saying it both ways in this review. And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Also check out my Twitter and Instagram so you can stay up to date with my channel. And remember, guys, keep watching movies.